Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. In this video we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Wave, in particular the Rocket Raccoon figure. Now without further ado, let's take a look at the box and then open him up and take a look at the figure inside. One thing in particular that's very exciting about this wave is we are finally going to get the Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU in their team suits, and this whole wave does include pretty much every member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. On the side of the box you can see there the Build-A-Figure is Cosmo, so we're getting a big dog as the Build-A-Figure, which is pretty cool to be fair, because Cosmo has been a pretty solid part of Guardians of the Galaxy since Volume 2 I think it was. Anyway, out of the box here he is. Now he's a pretty small figure to be honest. We've had Rockets before, and if I just hold the Cosmo Build-A-Figure part next to him, you can see just how much bigger the Build-A-Figure part is to the actual figure that's advertised on the front of the box. Let's pull my camera in a little bit more so we can see him a bit closer. Let's take a quick look at the Cosmo kind of torso and head. Detail on it is really nice. There's a little bit of flexibility there. The head goes sort of up and down. Bit of a flexibility and articulation in the body as well. So I think all in all, as a Build-A-Figure, this is going to be pretty cool. But it is huge in comparison to Rocket Raccoon, but it does scale quite well. Raccoons are obviously very small, so this does scale quite well indeed. But it is quite laughable that the Build-A-Figure piece is that much bigger. Now, my one real gripe with the Rocket Raccoon figures isn't with the actual Rocket Raccoon, but it's the fact that they can make a fully articulated small figure, and then we get characters like Howard the Duck that really aren't articulated at all. So yeah, that's a little bit of a frustration, but all in all, this is a really nice figure. There's a lot of articulation. There's articulation in his knees, in his ankles, in his elbows, in his shoulders, in his wrists, and of course in his neck as well. So yeah, there's quite a lot of articulation for the size of figure. Do be careful, as you can see here, one of my joints is a bit sticky, so do be careful you don't snap it when you're moving it around. And there's that little articulation there in the waist as well, or in the midsection anyway. This isn't a gun, this isn't a new gun, this is a gun that we've seen before. It actually came right back with the very first Guardians of the Galaxy Rocket figure, but it was in more of like a tan colour. It's quite cool. I think it's unique to Rocket Raccoon, so it's quite cool to have it again. Fits on him quite nicely, and there's this little kind of curved bit that just kind of hooks over his elbow as well, so it stays in place. But it does look good. There's a way of putting both hands on it, but I'm not going to mess around with that now. I'm just going to kind of point it upwards or something. The paint application on his tail is a lot more clear, as you can see, and you can really see the rings there in his tail. And I think the paint in his face is a little bit more detailed as well. Oh, just as I speak about the tail, I knock it off. That's typical, isn't it? The one cool thing about him having a tail is you can use it to prop him up, so you haven't got to worry about him standing up on those tiny little feet. So if you actually position the tail correctly, you can kind of lean back a little bit into it, and it stays in place just like this. So yeah, overall it's a pretty cool Rocket Raccoon figure. Here he is next to Drax, just for scale. He's not changed, he's the same kind of size that he's been previously. Obviously the original one we got had a lot less articulation, and yeah, it wasn't great, that first release version of Rocket Raccoon. But here he is next to the new Groot as well. So yeah, as far as size comparison goes, he works out well. And as you saw at the very beginning of this video, he works out really well next to Cosmo as well. This is a very pricey figure indeed for what you actually get in the box. But if you are building that Build-A-Figure, then it is an absolute vital part, because it essentially comes with the main part of Cosmo, the Build-A-Figure of this wave. And if you're a completionist and you want to round out the whole team in their Guardians of the Galaxy suits, you're going to need this Rocket Raccoon. So yeah, not an overly positive review. It's a pretty sort of subpar figure. One other little thing. Here is the raccoon that we got in the Groot box. So you can see that it's really tiny in comparison to Rocket. So it quite easily could be a baby version of Rocket, or it could be another raccoon kind of figure that we, character that we see in the film. Yeah, so here he is next to that. As I said in previous videos, I don't think that this is Rocket as a child. I think this is another raccoon kind of character that we see as the story unfolds. But yeah, we will soon see. But yeah, all in all, it's a pretty subpar figure. You are going to need it in order to round out the team and the Build-A-Figure. but it's not anything to write home about as a standalone figure. Do check out my channel for other 5-minute figure reviews, taking a look at the rest of this wave. And of course, do please share, like, subscribe, and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. So there we go, Rocket in his Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 team uniform. All in all, yeah, it's okay. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.